Welcome to the Brewed Truth Podcast,
where we unpack today's news
and separate the sense from the nonsense. I'm your host, Jay.
And I'm your co-host, Katie.
And thank you all for joining us. And let's just jump in. We're going to spend some time talking about Southwest today.
Yes.
Yeah. We've heard some things this week that have been, I guess, a little bit kind of earth-shattering for me. I'm going to tell you this. I've used Southwest probably in the last 10 years. That's the only airline I think I've ever flown on for the last 10 years. And I'm kind of pissed. So before we jump into what they have changed, I'm going to ask you, what are some perks that we love about Southwest? What are some
free bags?
Well, of course, the free bags, of course. I actually prefer the hurdling like cattle as we line up for our seats and we kind of rush to figure out where our spot is. And heaven forbid, if you're late like me always, you got to kind of fight people to get to that little hash because you're either in front or behind, and people, they are very polite, of course, with that. So that's my favorite part of the actual shuffling of bags and pushing people out the way to kind of get to your assigned spot. What else we like?
We also like the cost of their fares is,
economical for sure. That's a big perk too, on top of the economic part, which is safety. I mean, it's very rare that you see Southwest in the news, right? Not falling out the sky like recently, all the planes and stuff. So Southwest has really figured out a secret sauce to providing economical flights as well as safety, right? On top of these other things sprinkled in like bags, which we all love, 2 bags free. Plus, you get a personal item too to carry on.
Yeah, personal carry.
I mean, what airline does this now without charging an arm and a leg?
None.
Correct. Also, too, there's something that I think a lot of people miss about Southwest, which is their quirkiness in their actual attention to like friendly customer service driven policies.
Yes.
So that's actually a big thing. And I don't know if you guys have ever gotten on a Southwest flight, but I know I have. And when I look up and I see the flight attendants and they actually are smiling, that's to me always a great sign. Like maybe you actually like your job, and maybe if some stuff were to pop up, you might actually want to help people. So I think stuff like that really does make me feel a little warm inside. But if I see a friendly face, at least that provides a little comfort for me. So I have always picked Southwest Airlines. And what I heard today in the news actually really kind of set me back. I'm kind of pissed. Like I said earlier, I think I am a little pissed because they got some changes that are going to impact not only our bottom line, considering everything has gone up, right? It's going to affect probably their profit margin. So let's jump into it. Southwest was actually founded in Texas, right? And they actually started as a small airline, and they only flew to a couple cities in Texas. What they wanted to do was to provide like a low cost flight option for people around Texas. And that was great. That was in the 60s. And over time, around the 80s and 90s, Southwest expanded to be this low-cost carrier that actually was able to provide more options to people in the United States. So they started to build like hubs throughout the United States where, most cities you can fly to at a reasonable amount and get there safely. Again, that's nowadays it's huge. And then in the 2000s, they actually entered the online ticketing option where you can actually sign up online, and they added this no assigned seating model, which was what?
Amazing.
For those who, again, like the cattle call. I do, and I happen to love it. So, I didn't mind because sometimes I got there early.
Right.
And I was able to pick a good seat, right?
Leg room.
Yeah, exactly, because I'm pretty tall. And then sometimes I would get there late, and I got the in-between seat. And I just prayed that the person who I sat next to smelled pretty good. I didn't really care too much about getting cramps and wearing compression socks to make sure I didn't get blood clots. But I cared mainly if I was in a long flight that the person smelled decent.
True, that's important.
Right. So that's basically, some things that I really kind of enjoyed. So that takes us up to today, right? And I guess I should say now here comes the mess. So Southwest put out probably like a bulletin or news, I guess, that starting May 28th, guess what's happening?
There will be no charging us for bags, checked bags.
Listen, yeah. So the big feature, which you happen to love so much because you pack so lightly,
Stop.
right, is that we're going to now be charged fees for all of our bags. And there's some exceptions. Let me be clear. I'm going to be fair. There are some exceptions. So the first exception is if you are part of the premium fare club. And I don't know if anyone speaks in this language, but the premium fare club basically is the business class. So that's the most expensive option on the Southwest, website, the business class.
Yeah.
And that one you can fly anytime, anywhere, whatever, right? And you pay more for that. Okay. So you get free bags for that. If you are considered an A-list preferred or an A-list person, which means you have to earn that part by flying so many flights, I guess, you also get free bags there.
Oh.
Okay. That's okay. And for the people in the back, because everyone's like, what? Because how many flights you have to take to get to A-list? 20,000 probably. But anywho, so for others, if you were to have a Southwest credit card, you will get one free bag. Okay. So that means you got good credit. You can continue to have your credit paid for you by getting a Southwest credit card. And that will allow for you to get a free bag.
Okay.
Now listen, I always try to figure out what is the reason why these changes come. Because when I think about businesses and I think about, how Southwest started, it was about the people initially. Right? And that's a lot of reasons why Southwest has been successful over the years. And that's a lot of reason why Southwest has created this market share that has been untouched by any airline. Right? And now their reasons have changed. That they have figured out if they charge for bags, how much money do you think they'd actually take in?
I'm not sure. Can you tell me?
Well, I found that it's going to be near $1.5 billion with a B annually. That's a lot of money. So when you think about this, right? Before Southwest was like, oh my God, I want everyone to be happy. This is amazing, right? Come fly with us. We love you, right? And now it's like, hey, we are losing out on $1.5 billion a year. And we want our money.
But then I don't think you'll have the same market share as you had before. So, to me, it's like you're risking
What?
Getting what you used to get just because you want to go for the bigger pie.
True. So that is a trade-off. So remember, with everything, with changes especially, there's a pro and a con, right? So some of the experts are saying that with this, they may lose a big piece of their market share. And in fact, not only that, some experts report that the airline could lose $1.8 billion if their passengers go to another airline. So all the other airlines are probably like licking and salivating at this point because Southwest has had a lock on this part of the industry.
Right. And take for example me, when I traveled to Jamaica, I only traveled Southwest. What's going to stop me from going to another airline?
Well, I know what did stop you was probably the free bags. So now, I think that this will actually open up the door for other airlines to offer cheaper prices to get Southwest customers now to kind of come over. Because, loyalty is a big thing. Let me tell you, I'm loyal. Now, listen, I'll pay extra, right? If I know I'm going to get something great, right? I would. I'd pay as long as it lasts quality, yeah. So there's several things that certain, I think, airlines can offer. I don't think that cheap is always good now when we got planes falling out the sky.
Oh, yes.
Can we talk about that? All right, so recent, right? The last month or so, we've had a lot of weird things happen with planes and everything, and it's concerning.
Very.
Right? Because at least in a car, I feel like I can control my environment a lot, even though there's a lot that I can't.
Right.
But in the sky, I'm completely powerless. I'm like, listen, I am on Jesus' good mercy, right? And, from planes landing upside down, at least no one was hurt, right? To planes just crashing into the back of planes, right? And a lot of people passed on that one.
To planes on fire.
Right. Oh, well, that too, right? Remember, that just happened too.
And near misses.
Yep. Happened as well. So, I'm thinking like, do we pay a little more to land? I mean, is your life worth a little bit more money. I mean, because technically we haven't seen Southwest in the news, right?
Not really, not in that capacity.
For safety wise. So this is where I struggle because the bags are going away, right? Which I know for people who pack heavy like you, that's a big problem.
It is.
All right. And there's also something else going away.
Enlighten me.
You play too much. The seating, the open seating, the herding of the cattle, which again, I happen to love because I actually sometimes sit back and watch people. The anxiety of people wanting to be in that particular space at that time. I think it's hilarious. They're actually taking that away. So they made this announcement actually in July last year, 2024, where they said that they were going to move towards assigned seating. Now, here's a funny thing about that. Now, Southwest has always been kind of different.
Yes.
And I think honestly, even though probably most people who have anxiety and things like that would love to say, hey, my seat is going to be there. But for those people like myself who can throw it out there in the universe a little bit, and maybe I'll get lucky, I like that too. Because I feel like we all paying the same. And if I get that lucky, because sometimes my luck is good, I may actually get a seat with leg room. So when I fly to wherever it would be, Vegas or wherever, Texas, I actually can sit in a seat where I'm not wearing compression socks. So I have to put them on. So where I can get the leg room and act like, I'm going to actually, participate, should an emergency happen, because I would, but the extra leg room to me, because when you're tall, that matters the most, right? I kind of like the fact that if I get there early and on time and I do my part, I get that seat. And I still didn't have to pay more for it.
And don't forget, your part is checking your phone 24 hours, making sure you get that early seating.
Right. And I think everyone has done that, right? Everyone has. So, that's one of the things that is actually going away too. So, although the change was announced in 2024, they actually are going to start implementing it now in the later half of 2025. And then by 2026, I think mid 2026, it should be established. So, again, we got these two things that we happen to love that are going away. And the biggest thing that I want to try to figure out, and I just want to discuss with everybody right now, is like the reason of why. Because that all matters, especially now in the economy that we're in, the state of the world we're in. There's a lot of trade-offs that are happening, and I think that we have to look at the big picture. Things that were secure and consistent are now changing, right? So I have to really figure out, and I actually, when I see a problem, I try to get a little deeper to understand why. You got these two big changes that are happening. And the first thing I thought about was what is happening internally with this company, right? I mean, you got these two staples that everybody is literally loving. I think that the open seating process has just been a staple of the company since we said, the early 2000s, right? So it's like over like 25 years, right? So now we have to look at the reason why. And I did some digging. It didn't take long. Guess what? Guess what I found out?
What did you find out?
Girl, there's restructuring in the board.
Have to be.
Right? So they have these cost-cutting strategies. And some investor, because they have an investor, basically was able to win more seats on the board. So you know what that means? People want to make more money when they invest, right? So they start to look and figure out, like, what are we giving away, right, that we could be profiting on? And we found out that not only was there a new board, they're also cutting some corporate jobs. So apparently over 15% of their corporate jobs at Southwest are also being cut. Now, I know we haven't heard much about company downsizing, right? We've heard it in the news about everything that's happening with the federal government because of all the slashing that's happening there. But companies are now doing it too. Okay. So one of the things that I'm thinking about now is this investor that has now won many seats on their board is now looking at things from a different lens from when the mission of this company was started. So where does this leave us?
No free bags, I guess.
She said no free bags. Technically, I guess in a way, to consider probably other options, but I don't know. I mean, I think maybe I don't know. I'm on the fence. Let me just say that I'm on the fence. The first part of me is like, you know what, Jay? Uh, do you pay for Southwest because you know you'll get there safe? I mean, your life is worth something.
Or if you're going somewhere domestic, do you drive or do you take the train?
Other options?
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. I can see that. So I now know that there probably are going to be other airlines. You know, one of them that I haven't heard in the news is JetBlue. I wonder if JetBlue's going to take in some of the opportunities of this, you know?
Yeah.
I haven't really heard much about them,
Mm-mm. Not much.
right? I know that other market shares, I'm wondering if others like United and what's the other one?
American Airlines.
If they would actually get hungry to see that some of the market shares up for grabs, right?
But they would have to come with something really unique that will, because there some of these airlines I don't even look their way when I'm booking my flights. Well, but that's just me.
Yeah. People have preferences. And I like the fact that we have choice, right? One thing I didn't go over, there was one thing I didn't go over.
What?
Girl. So after they announced all this stuff that they were cutting and moving away from and everything, guess what happened to their stock?
Of course it fell.
Nope. It rose by 9%.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So I found out that their Southwest stock on the day that they announced the changes rose 9%. Isn't that wow? So I don't know, maybe there's more people with the herding actually that really actually would like just a seat. Huh?
Okay.
I don't see how, again, to me, the loss of the bags is the bigger issue for me. I guess, you know, the paying more and get the seat, fine. Okay. And if I'm running late, maybe I actually am very lucky to get that seat versus me sitting, like a sausage somewhere, right?
Right.
So that could be a perk. But the bags, my dude,
Yeah.
the bags. I'm really struggling about the bags. I'm being honest. That's the only thing. When you got kids, I'm telling you, like, we got kids, when you got kids, the bags. And, when you have heavy packers,
Okay.
just saying, when you got heavy packers, the bags.
I have no words for that part because it's true.
It's just the bags. So I guess we'll see. Again, I am valuing safety, though, because some of the other airlines that have been in news, for upside down reasons and fire reasons and smoke reasons and you name it reasons, I kind of want to get there safe. I'm kind of, I'm not sure if anyone else has a fear of flying right now, but I think I do. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little anxious about jumping on flights at this point.
Fear is an understatement from me.
So as we wrap up this topic, one of the things that I will always say is I'm very glad that we have free choice here, you know? And as companies move and change and evolve, I always love for companies to stay true to their mission. And the biggest part with this for me is that I feel like Southwest is moving from their mission, from what made them great, from what made them kind of like the iconic, like blue, red, orange, white thing in the sky. Everyone saw Southwest. They had the level of respect, and to move away from that just for the bottom line, I'm not sure if that's a good money move. But I know that the mission of what made this company great and what people gravitated towards
and what gave them the advantage.
Correct, was how they treated people. And they showed it through the bags. I know they showed it through the bags. At least that's what I feel. No? Okay.